Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. I think we're about 2 away from hitting our limit here. So if anybody is getting any teammates or anything reaching out asking if they can't get in, if we hit 100, we're gonna be maxed out. So that will be the reason. So if you could help us out with that and let them know that that's what's happening. So obviously a good turnout. So we appreciate that. So welcome everyone. We appreciate you taking the time to join us. My name is Shay Swoboda. I'm the Director of Coaching, and our goal tonight is to give everyone an update on where things stand as of now, and the plan moving forward as far as return to play on the field, registration, ordering uniforms, and events and things like that moving forward. So to start, we will address the return to play. I know we're all anxious to get out on the field. We currently are on phase 2, which does permit small group training up to 4 players and a coach, so 5 total. The issue that we are running across right now, that while small group training is permissible, none of the facilities that we rent are available to us. Most all of those are closed until phase 3. So at this point, all fields that we typically rent, which includes all city fields, Dwight Merkel, South Complex, Franklin Park, Plants Ferry, all school district fields, and the colleges, SFCC, SCC, all of those facilities are closed to organized groups. So at this point, that is ultimately why we're not able to get out on the field yet. Our club, which we're going to go over all the return to play protocols, we are prepared for when facilities become available to us to get started with these small group trainings. The one thing we are open to is if any of you as parents or coaches, if you have access or resources to any facilities that would be open to teams training, if you could share that information with your coach, whether that's a church in your neighborhood, something that may be open. There is a protocol for us to go through. We can't just have teams go training on at those locations. It does need to be approved by the club for a couple reasons. One, we want to make sure that our teams are training on approved properties. It's really important. One that from an insurance and a liability standpoint, we want to make sure that everybody's covered in case of an injury and liabilities. And we certainly want to make sure we're aware and not finding out that we have teams training at locations that we're not aware of. So if you have any access to any of these facilities, please share with your coach, and we'll run that through, make sure everything's covered insurance-wise. The main thing is we'd have to have a significant amount of our teams being able to train before our groups are able to get out there. So it's not just going to be open to individual teams. It'll be something that we decide as a group. So any questions about that? It is really important. We've had a couple warnings with some small groups, going out there, not in surf gear, not organized surf, but people recognize them as surf, and on fields that at this point are closed. And so that information gets back to us very quickly, and it does reflect on our club. So we do ask that everybody please respect our policies on that. And again, those are all the fields that I mentioned before, and we'll also have those listed on the website. So the next thing that we're going to go into, it's going to be a lot. It's not just as easy as us being able to get on the field and train. Just like everywhere else, as you've seen, if you've been out in public, restaurants and things, there are a different way of doing things, and there's definitely protocols that we're going to have to adhere to with these small group.
Shay, you muted again.
Okay, Keith, can you go ahead and share the document?
Yep, working on it. Not that.
I don't know why it mutes me there. But as training becomes available, one of the things that we are going to require is a waiver that we'll have everyone sign, as well as we're going to walk you through the protocols right now. We'll also post these, and they'll also be emailed out to everyone as well. So it's quite an extensive list, so be prepared for a couple minutes of me just talking here. So this is all compiled through resources with other clubs and what they're doing. There's a ton of research in this because we do have our Palouse group, which are a few weeks ahead of us. They've actually been able to get out and start training and have been adherent to these protocols. So if we can start here with the before and after the field. So all players must be registered with the Eastern Washington Surf before they can participate. Okay, so we know everybody has filled out the Hold My Spot. Official registration is open as of June 1. Teams will, if they haven't already, for WNPL, will be receiving the invite for the official registration soon. So before they can enter into these small group trainings, they're going to need to make Okay, so any players feeling sick or have a higher temperature than normal, we ask that they not have other health conditions. Carpooling is not permissible with people that you do not live with. Parents are not allowed to congregate at the field. They may watch from a minimum of 300 feet and preferably in the car. No congregation of players and parents in parking lots, drop-off zones, or at any time in the immediate area of the training facility. Please use the restroom before coming to the field. Some of these facilities, restrooms will not be open. They also have to adhere to protocols, and so maintaining their restrooms is going to be a challenge, and so they may do porta potties or they may not have facilities at all. Players must wear masks up to and immediately after the sessions. Coaches will be required to wear masks as well, except for during training. And they would be able to remove the mask, but after training, they'll need to put the mask back on. All players and coaches will need to sanitize their hands before and after the sessions. And we'll move on to the on the field. So all sessions will be outdoors. Groups in Washington are limited to 4 players plus a coach, so 5 total. Coaches will sanitize all equipment and themselves before training day, and cones will be placed 10 feet apart in the player area to allow for social distancing. And then players must remain 10 feet apart during the training exercises, and they may not touch any of the equipment with their hands or their head. So if they knock over a cone, they'll just need to flip it back over with their feet. Players must stay at a minimum of 40 yards away from other groups. Or so this could be public, or this could be other small groups that we have out there. The one question right now that's going to happen when we get permission from these facilities is how many small groups can be on a field. You know, is that going to be 4 where we quarter up the field, a coach in the middle? Small groups have that 40 yards of distance in between. If we're able to do that, close to being able to train a group at a time. If it's less than that, then it may be back-to-back sessions per team. So players may not touch one another, our coaches, or personal items. They're all going to want to hug and high five. Seeing each other, we got to make sure that that we pay attention to that, not allow that to happen. Unfortunately, training vests will be one-time use, and then they'll be washed immediately after training sessions. No spitting within 30 feet of the player area. Team snacks or shared drinks are strictly prohibited, and group use of any water fountains is strictly prohibited. So each player needs to bring their own water bottle. We will do individual water breaks as opposed to the whole group going over and having a water break together. Training at this point will not include any scrimmages.
Had like this form that she's going over. I lost the form.
What's that? Did somebody have a question?
No, it's just someone that's not on mute.
Okay. So water breaks training cannot include scrimmages at this time. It's all going to be social distance, technical, individual work in small groups. And parents may also provide their player with a cleaning solution if they'd like. So players may not enter the training area until the previous group has left. There will be a minimum of 10 minutes between groups to allow for this changeover. And while in the player area, they must stay in their designated cone. Players must put on gear before entering the training session and may not remove the gear until after they leave the training session. So here's kind of a sample small group. All right, so players and coaches not following the guidelines. First offense is going to be a warning. Second offense will be removal from training, and third offense will mean no training allowed until all restrictions have been lifted, which would be after phase 4. So this is going to be something that we're going to monitor very closely. I do want to say that this is something that's being required of clubs across the nation. If you've been watching MLS trainings and things, you'll see that the players are coming with their masks. They're getting their temperature taken. They're leaving with their masks. So this is something that has been put out there, and we've compiled it from a number of resources. So definitely looking after the safety of the players, as well as when it comes to the liability for everyone involved. So hopefully everybody understands. I know that was a lot. I've gone through that number of times, and it's a lot. So any questions regarding that? I think before we go to the questions, I do want to let everybody know that we fully support any player or family that's not comfortable with training during phase 2. So that's not going to be held against your player if you're not comfortable with doing these small group trainings. If that is the case, just let your coach know, and they'll work with you to provide some training opportunities for your player not being able to participate in the small group. Okay, so again, at this point, it's still likely probably phase 3 before we're able to get out. But if opportunities become available before then, this is going to be the protocol in phase 2. And I know in the last meetings, we got questions if that's going to change in phase 3. There will still be some of the social distancing requirements, but some of the restrictions will be lifted a little bit. But we're going to be looking at phase 4 before we're able to get into full-on training and competition.
This information will be emailed out to all the parents club-wide, and we also have it uploaded into on our website. So feel free to go and review it.
Okay. So if everyone, there is a chat feature on here. If anybody has any questions that they're not comfortable with asking, you can go ahead and put it in there. What we do ask is if it's something that pertains to everyone, then go ahead and have that for everyone. If it's a specific question for your player, then please put that as a private message, and I'll try to get back to you on that. So, all right, so it's on the website. Let's see, I think it's put out there. On the website, the info is under the resources tab for anyone looking for that. So thank you on that. Hopefully soon we see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're looking forward to getting back out there, but just still a few more steps before we can do that. So the one thing that we can say for team training, that's the plan for team training, our academy and our goalkeeping will be going live with Facebook Live here starting next week. We'll have Yvonne Torres, who is on here. He's our academy director, if he wants to speak on that a little bit more specifically.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Yeah, so as Shay was mentioning, our academy is going to start here. The dates that we're going to start is next Monday, June 8th and 10th. We actually had our year at glance calendar done already, as if we were going to start out on the field. However, since we have these restrictions, we are going to be doing Facebook Live sessions. With Academy, it's really easy to do these things, especially for the players in all ages, because academy focuses on individual skill. And since we're focusing on individual skill, there is no issue with, getting a soccer ball, 4 cones, 4 objects, and getting to work. So we'll be having age group specific trainings at different times. There'll be 30-minute sessions. They're going to be really active, really intense for all ages, really challenging. And for those that, even if we have different levels at different ages, I'll make sure to have a challenge mode for every activity we do. So we're going to really focus on making sure that the kids are working consistently for those 30 minutes, maybe getting a water break or 2, but getting to work within those 30 minutes on their coordination, on their foot skills, on their ball control, on all those things that Academy has focused on lately. So the schedule is already live, or at least the dates are already live on the website. So if you guys want to know the dates and times, just go to the website. It gives you the age group, it gives you the date, and it gives you the time. So we should be good to go there. So like we said, we're going to be doing all through June, we're going to be doing virtual Academy sessions through Facebook Live. And we're going to try to make sure that we can get all our 3 affiliates, or, Eastern Washington, we get Palouse and Columbia Basing is getting this live feed so that the kids can work with us and make sure that, at least they get an introduction to what Academy looks like. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. I've done some team virtual trainings here with my team as well. So it's been going great. Kids have been working very hard. And so we're looking forward to Academy kicking off. If I'm missing anything else, Shay, but if that was the only information really, that we're going all June will be virtual Academy sessions through Facebook Live.
Nope, that was great, Yvonne. So thank you for that. And thank you to all of our technical staff on here who's put some online content out there and keeping our players engaged and active. Keith, our Director of Communication and Engagement, him, along with our social media team, has done an incredible job. Keith, there's a couple questions on here. If you can talk on the social media and communications. I would touch on, if you're not on Facebook, how are the players going to be able to get these Facebook live sessions? And also, what is the Facebook for Eastern Washington?
Before I go, I just wanted to give a shout out, like you said, to Andrew Craig, who's done a great job with the Juniors Academy and taking over. Tyler and Eloy have put a lot of great content out there. So they're always great resources. If I'm not available, you should ask them. They know a lot of technical development, and I'm looking forward to keep working with them. Thank you.
So, absolutely. And Keith, just before you go, is Eric on here, or was he one of the ones that got cut off?
Eric Lewis. I haven't seen Eric. So it's just like Yvonne said, we have done a lot of stuff via social media and YouTube and everything else, and we will continue to, just as we understand that families may not be comfortable getting back on the field. We know that some families are not on social media or don't have Twitter and Instagram and Facebook accounts. So everything that we post is public. So if you just Google it, EW Surf SC Facebook account, you can view it without an account. We'll do the same thing for the virtual Academy sessions, and we'll capture that video and make sure that we can, Jalen's going to work and see what sort of video hosting capability we have via Sports Engine. Otherwise, we'll find another manner to make sure that we can distribute it, whether that's YouTube or a Google Drive account or anything else. And Eric from the goalkeeping is also working on that. He's done really well with, if you aren't familiar with our YouTube account, he's put a ton of keeper drills and exercises and everything like that up there. He may be able to get back on the field a little bit sooner than Yvonne and the rest of the Academy staff, just since keeper is generally a smaller group. But if not, he'll be more than capable of doing stuff virtually as well.
So he's actually on here. He was disguised under Mia. So Eric, you're trying to hide from us.
Hey, everybody.
There you go. Eric, if you can talk on the goalkeeping, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, kind of like Yvonne was saying, we're looking to get started back up. Fortunately for us goalkeepers, small group training is kind of what we do anyway. So we're hoping to get back on the field. We plan to continue that small group training throughout the year. We have a great goalkeeping staff, great trainers. Looking to bring on one more as well. So we're going to have a goalkeeping trainer assigned to each developmental age group, which is really good and very rare. There's not many clubs offering that type of opportunity. So we're super excited. Really gonna hopefully, if we can't get on the field, we'll do stuff virtually as well. But we're really hoping we can get back on the pitch and get back out. So fortunately we may be able to do that. So we're just got to kind of wait and see what the field scenario turns out to be.
Thank you, Eric. So again, incredibly
You're welcome.
proud of our technical staff, being able to still provide these resources during. So, excellent work, guys, on here. So got the Facebook ones. Questions about, so Spokane County is in phase 4, but other counties are still in phase 3. How would that affect traveling? So and there's another one asking if our teams are going to be allowed to travel for events that are outside of the state. So we have to follow the phases that each of these counties are in. So if there are events that, if they're not into phase 4, they're more than likely going to be canceled. And so a lot of events are changing their dates already. So some of the ones that we're anticipating have already moved those, and those that are in jeopardy of probably still being in phase 3, anticipate those moving as well and maybe being canceled. So everyone's going to need to be in phase 4 before these events are going to be able to happen. So if there's a county that's not in phase 4 yet, more than likely that event's being canceled. Yes, at this point, we don't have any restrictions from the club. If events do happen and they are in phase 4, we're not restricting our families from traveling. Again, that's going to be something we do support families if they're not comfortable with that. And so we do need the communication, making sure your team, your coach is aware so that they can be sure that they have a full team going to these events. So if you're not comfortable with traveling, please let your coach know as soon as possible as these events are being communicated. So hopefully that answered both of those. Any other questions regarding that? I know these are the WNPL teams, so I know many of the events are outside the area. Okay. So again, we respect everyone's decisions, so just communicate that. What I can say is we do have our Eastern Washington Surf Club Jamboree on August 15th and 16th. So please mark your calendars for that. We're looking forward to that. We're hoping that we're certainly in phase 4 by that time. We've rented out the entirety of Plants Ferry, and we'll have all 55 of our Spokane teams, as well as our Palouse and our Columbia Basin. And so we're looking at roughly 75 to 80 teams that are going to be out there, all surf, participating in small-sided jamboree, and a good kickoff to the season. And so please, we hope everyone's able to participate in that. I think it's going to be a great social event, as well as getting a little bit of competition out there too, friendly competition. All right, any questions there?
Shay, there's a question from Robin. Are we paying full registration fees if we are still unsure? Sorry, I have a monitor here. That's why I keep turning this way. Unsure of how much we are actually going to be paying. Well, right now, looking at the phases and looking at where we are right now, as of June 3rd, if we would have had normal, regular old season, we would just be doing exactly what we're doing right now. We would be going through the team formation process, meeting with your teams, and then opening up practices, getting together with your teams. So right now, as of today, it still looks exactly the same as if things were normal. Now, hopefully we move into phase 3 and then phase 4, and everything is back to normal at that time. And that is our expectation. So we haven't changed the fee structure right now because we didn't feel the need to do that. We're able to offer still a lot of the services and practices and online training sessions during this time earlier than we normally would have after we finished the tryouts. So right now the fees are set. We did not increase it this year. So hopefully I answered that question. So the answer is yes, it's staying the same.
So Jalen, the next thing we're going to talk about is team formation and going into registration. There is a question. So with the WNPL teams, at this point, players should have been placed. If you haven't heard from your coach or you're unsure, please reach out to me individually on that. I want to make sure that we didn't miss anyone. There was some player movement, not a lot. So if all players were guaranteed a spot back with SURF, so if you weren't contacted for any player movement or requested player movement, then your team placement is with your previous team, your current team, I guess I should say.
I want to address one other question that came up. When is the registration fee due? Right now, I forwarded all the coaches the final report for Hold My Spot. So I want them to go through it with the fine-tooth comb, make sure that everyone has been placed, work with Shay to make sure. The rosters are starting to come into me. What I do with that roster is make sure to send out a team-specific invitation to start the official registration process. So I think most of you have gone through that before. You go in and register, pick your payment plan, and payment option, and then once that confirmation comes through to me, that is the registration that I use to transfer your information into the Sports Engine official roster. And then that information gets migrated over to US Club Soccer, making you eligible to play for our club. And then the player card is generated. And I'm going to be completely flexible. If someone needs help spreading out the payments more, I am more than happy to do that for you. If you need financial assistance application is already up and running, and it's under resources on our website. It's the top right, the second one over. So make sure if you need help, please apply for that. I will keep that application open a little bit longer this season and make sure I address all the need that our families might have. So, okay, so that question, Shay, came from, let's see, we were not WNPL team last year, so I had no spring season. We're moving to WNPL this year. I know they had most of their games, but we did not. Is there a refund for no spring season this year? Okay, so we did, Jaden, we addressed that in a Copa and Classic team, Classic level meeting at 6 o'clock. Let me go ahead and private give you a call after this call, if that's okay with you. You can just shoot me type a message, thumbs up, and that'll be fine. Okay. Sorry, I totally lost my train of thought because I thought that question was pertaining to what we were talking about. So I think we went. Do you have any questions about the registration process? Just look for the email that will come from me welcoming you to 2021 season, and then I'll give you all the information you need to register. Select a payment option, and then you will be officially placed on your team roster. And thank you so much for your patience throughout this entire season during this COVID. And we cannot say thank you enough, actually. It's been such a unbelievably I don't even know if I can say it's a great experience, but really, you know, I expected the absolute worst, and what I got is shockingly good, and the patience and the level of understanding. So I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over again, but thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Jalen. Can you also talk about uniforms and that process with once you get the rosters and soccer.com?
I think most of our parents have already received, I would say most, already received invitations from soccer.com. WNPL teams are, you know, eager group. So as soon as I upload it up to soccer.com, the invitation is sent out. And, you know, every day I look at it and the confirmation comes through, and we have more and more people ordering all the pieces. We are really, really looking good. So no complaints, and I will continue to upload. If you haven't received it, then I don't have the official roster, the actual roster from the teams yet. So once I receive that, I'll make sure to create your team uniform store, player profiles built, and then you'll receive a soccer.com email inviting you to go ahead and order uniforms. Do you have any questions about the pieces or uniform? Someone did ask about which one is a practice uniform. So black is away, blue is home. The pale blue can be used for practices, or you can take it with you during tournaments. Black away, blue home, light blue, you have the option to use it for practices and or tournaments.
Okay. All right. Any questions, Keith? Can you just confirm that we've gone over all the ones that are in the chat? It's always hard for me to do that and try to continue with that. So if you can confirm.
I think Jalen talked that if you haven't received anything from uniforms yet, then she probably hasn't got the roster. So just stand by for a couple days.
Okay.
Email.
The parents, sending messages regarding spring season, I will make sure to write it all down, and I promise I will get back to you.
Yep, so that's it.
They didn't get it, and some of your team members do. I am working with Dory, I'm talking to you. Working with Diane right now. I sent her a copy of what's up on soccer.com, so we're going to fix whatever needs to be fixed in it, so you will get it. Let's see, am I missing anyone else? Same here.
The only other question that I see, Shay, is from Adam, and it might be along the same lines as some of the out-of-state tournaments, but he's asking specifically about Surf Cup.
Okay, that's a team-by-team case, so I'll address that one separate. So, okay. All right, so speaking of events, so like we said, a lot of events are changing their dates and they're trying to adjust right now. So know that coaches are paying attention to that and planning that so that we can prepare for summer events. We hope that they can happen, but we certainly hope that at least by the Jamboree, hopefully sooner. Washington Cup question. At this point, the league is still has that on the books as a go. Still not quite sure if that's going to happen. Obviously, that's with that being statewide and clubs in all the different areas to be able to make the true Washington Cup. Not sure. I know that they moved that pretty early on to try to make that a possibility, but I still think that that's very much in jeopardy with where Seattle is right now. So, good question there. Okay, so if you haven't received the invite yet or the uniform, know that that's going to be coming very soon. Do want to thank Jalen. She's done an incredible job on the financial side to be able to do the hold the spot, not collect any team fees or anything until this point. So thank you, Jalen, on that. And want to thank all of you as well for your patience. Like Jalen said, it's definitely a unique experience with us expanding into the Tri-Cities. We have almost 1,300 players, placing players without a tryout. doing everything over phone calls, Zoom calls, emails. If there's an email that we missed, a text message, a phone call that didn't get returned, we sincerely apologize. Please let me know on that. I know our leadership is working really hard behind the scenes, working 12, 14, 16-hour days, trying to do everything that we can to get everything transitioned during this time into the next season. So again, incredibly proud of this club for how we've handled this situation, for the patience that we've had from all of you. And we're anxious. We see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're looking forward to getting back on the field as soon as it's safe to do so. We're certainly missing the players, missing the game. So looking forward to that. Also really proud of our retention. We've retained all coaches, as well as the majority of our players. We've had less than 10 players who've left to go to another club, while we've had over 50 or so join our club. So I think that speaks volumes to the product that we're putting out there, and a large part of that are the players and the parents and our technical staff and our coaches and our leadership team. So incredibly proud of this group, ready to get back out. Thank you for your time being on here, taking the evening to join us, and coaches will continue to update you weekly on Wednesdays so that you can let your team know. And aside from that, did we answer everything? All good in the hood. Very quiet group, by the way. Oh.
They're quiet now, but they're going to beat up on their coaches later. Questions that didn't answer.
Sure. I'm yeah, it's almost so quiet, but we've done so many Zooms now. I don't know. I'm just want to make sure we addressed everything. So
yeah, so I've gone through most of the NPL teams, and I feel like we're in great shape. So I'm working with Shay to get the remaining couple, and then we'll just get the uniform store up and loaded and go from there. And I will be drafting a formal invite. It will go out late this week and early next week, directly to individual teams, welcoming you back to 2000-2001 season, and registration link for you to officially register. So there will be detailed information there. So hopefully no one gets stuck. So no questions, no other questions. We're good.
all right. Well, it's good to see everyone, even though it's
oh, that's good.
Yeah. So even though it's Zoom, at least we still get to be connected. So all right. Until next time, if this continues even longer, we'll look to do a parent meeting. Otherwise, hopefully the next time we see each other's on the field.
Thank you.
Thank you, parents, so much. Nice to see the faces with the names. So have a good night. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks, Shay. Thanks, Jalen. Thanks,
Bye.
Keith.
Thank you.